Oh, yeah.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to NCLEX-RN. This is my second video in my NCLEX series. If you want to go ahead and check out the first video, I'm going to pop that link right above for you. In my first video, I talk about my NCLEX taking experience. I passed in 76 questions, not 75, and I talk about a couple of the bumps I hit along the road. But the goal on this channel is always for the next generation of nurses to be better and smarter and wiser and just a little bit ahead of the curve. So let's get into some of the tips that are going to help you to hopefully pass that NCLEX in 75 questions or as few questions as possible. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is format and time. So you have up to 6 hours, guys, to take the NCLEX. 6 hours is a long time. So the great thing is that time can be a stressor that's eliminated in your mind from the very beginning. It's very unlikely that you'll need the full 6 hours. And since we're trying to focus on minimizing the amount of questions we take, that will contribute to less mental fatigue because the longer you're there, it gets harder and harder and harder. And honestly, guys, if I was there past hour 3 to 4, I would just be a puddle on the ground. So we're going to focus on how you can minimize the amount of questions you're going to be taking. In terms of format, most of you are probably aware of kind of how the NCLEX works. So it's an adaptive test, which is kind of cool. The way it works is you're given a question, and if you answer that question correctly, you'll be given a slightly more difficult question. And if you answer that first question incorrectly, you'll be given a slightly easier question. Of course, easiness and difficulty of questions is slightly subjective, but it's trying to gauge whether you can stay above a certain benchmark. And in this way, the test overall is trying to gauge your nursing knowledge and if you're safe to take care of patients, at least at a minimal level. So you might be wondering, Kanika, you mentioned something about a free test in your thumbnail, so let me tell you about that right now. Kaplan has a 50-question test on their website. I'm going to put that link for you below so you can just hop right on over there. I think taking a practice test is an awesome way to kickstart your studying. It gets you in that exam mindset. You start to pinpoint which areas of weakness you have. You start to pinpoint which areas you feel fairly comfortable with. So maybe you want to spend a little bit less time on those areas. And I think it's overall just a great way to kind of get into the zone. So make sure you go ahead and check that out below. So if you have just graduated nursing school, you might be thinking, yes, the only thing between me and my nursing degree is this NCLEX. So I need to get this out of the way. And you also might be thinking, man, wouldn't it be awesome if someone would just drop a study plan into my hand so I know exactly how to tackle studying for this NCLEX? Well, guys, that's exactly what I'm going to do for you. So let's get into that study plan. I think the ideal length of time for you to give yourself studying before you schedule yourself for the NCLEX is 30 to 45 days. 30 to 45 days out before your NCLEX test date, I think, is the sweet spot. Anything less than 30 days, you might find yourself stressed out trying to cram in too much, may not have enough time to prepare, and I really don't think you need to be preparing more than 45 days. Again, it's your discretion. In every tip in this video, there is no money back guarantee. I wish I had money to give you back to guarantee all my claims, but these are just things that I think work well. So 30 to 45 days, I think, is your sweet spot. Anything more than 45 days, you're just gonna be so tired that I don't think you'll be your freshest best self during the NCLEX. This 30 to 45 day study plan. So how exactly are we gonna break this down? So the number one resource I think that everyone needs to be using is UWorld. And this video is not sponsored, guys, mostly because I can't get people to give me money for things, but if they ever do, I'll definitely let you know. UWorld is a completely online resource, and it has a study bank of 2,000 questions. And the great thing about UWorld is the format of how you take all the practice questions. It's very, very similar to the actual NCLEX test itself. So your muscle memory will start to make you feel very comfortable and you feel like you're in the exact same exam setting that you're going to be on the actual test day. So UWorld has multiple plans, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and of course the longer plan you take, the more expensive it's going to be. My recommendation is either take the 30-day plan, which I think is $129, or the 60-day plan, which includes one test and it's $159. I don't really think you need any of the longer plans than that. I think that's kind of your sweet spot. And UWorld comes with 2,000 questions. So I've even broken down the math for you on this. If you do 75 questions a day, which is what I'm going to recommend, it's going to take you 26 days if you do it every single day. So if you're giving yourself that 30 to 45 days, you have a couple of days here and there if you need to take a break. This is the specific way I would study every single day for the NCLEX. I think first thing when you start studying, whether that be in the morning or in the afternoon, whenever you're going to begin, do 75 questions in UWorld, but approach it like you're actually taking the test. Don't take time in between to review the answers, to go over things that you missed. Just go question after question as if you're actually taking the test. Try your best to finish in under 2 hours. Don't stress too much about it if it takes a little bit longer, but train your brain into getting efficient at answering questions. So do your 75 questions and then walk away. Get some food, take a little break, run some errands, catch up on some Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, whatever you need to do. I'm also going to give you 2 show recommendations, Killing Eve on Hulu or Fleabag on Amazon Prime. Guys, you got to check these shows out. They're so fun. Another tip I have for you, don't get distracted like I just did. So you've taken your break, you're gonna come back, and what I think you should do is take those 75 questions that you did and go over them. Obviously, emphasize on the things that you missed, make sure you understand why you missed them, go over the concepts. If it's musculoskeletal, do a little review on that. If it's cardiac, do a little review on that. Even the questions you got correctly, make sure that you actually understand the question and you didn't get it right just because it was a guess. So go over those 75 questions, and if you still have the energy and you still have the time, go ahead and study those areas that you still feel like you need a little bit more work in. And that's where the second resource comes in. Kaplan has a NCLEX prep book that you can find on Amazon or eBay for somewhere around $20 or $30, so it's not a particularly pricey resource for you. And I'm a little bit old school. I'm a little bit of a grandma when it comes to these kind of things. I still feel good about having an actual physical reference. I used Kaplan solely when I was taking my NCLEX, and I do think some of the test-taking strategies on Kaplan are very, very good, and they kind of break it down for you based on the kind of question you're answering. So I do think that's a nice resource to add on if you feel like you want just something a little bit extra in terms of test-taking strategy. And if you're also like me, you just feel like you can't stare at a computer for any more time than those 75 questions, then this Kaplan resource is also like a really nice one. I'm gonna link everything down below so you have all the resources for you. So that is your full study plan, guys. Do your 75 UWorld questions, approach it like you're actually taking the test, take a break, walk away, review everything so you're mentally all fresh to soak in all that new information, and then you add this Kaplan book, which I'm going to link down below for you as an additional resource if you feel like you need something a little bit extra. And like I said, there's some great test-taking strategies. So guys, hopefully this gives you like a nice solid study plan for your NCLEX. If there's any other way that I can help you, any other questions I can answer for you, please go ahead and comment them below. Next week, we're going to get a little more specific into actual test-taking strategies, like what you can do during the test, how you can break down the questions, and make things a little bit easier in that way for you. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe. We'll be doing that next week. And as always, my friends, please keep it sweet and salty, and I'll see you guys next Thursday.